All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word, love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's Brother Shati from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this is a video by Bella Vendala. I think she's here in Chicago. All right. She seems to have a pretty decent following. But in one of in this rant today, she presents some some uh cold hard facts. Okay. So we'll let this video play and we'll get some scripture.
At this point, it doesn't matter what God you pray to, America's not on its good side. Like, seriously, think about it. A bunch of colonizers came here and stole sacred land from the natives. Then they went ahead and they hopped on over the pond to Africa, where they stole a bunch of natives from the motherland so they could build up a country that funds a genocide.
Okay. We got to stop there. Okay. They did not steal Africans from the motherland. Okay. They stole Israelites. There is no book, there is no record in history where during the time of the transatlantic slave trade, where Africans were selling Africans, their own people, into slavery. No. You had Hamites who tracked and helped bad Uncle Esau to sell Israelites. That's what it was.
On the Holy Land. I don't hopped on over the pond to Africa, where they stole a bunch of natives from the motherland so they could build up a country that funds a genocide on the Holy Land. I don't care what God you pray to, he ain't fucking with us.
And that's true, because the scripture tells us that what is it says, if you establish a city, yep, Habakkuk 2 and 12. And it says, woe, meaning destruction, to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity. As she said, you had a bunch of people came over, stole land, stole people, and built a so-called great country off the tears, the sweat, and the blood of many Israelites. America would not be what it is today if it wasn't for the millions of Israelites that they murdered, senselessly murdered. And it says, and establish a city by iniquity. Not only did bad Uncle Esau come over, colonize, and murder many of our people, he sets up rules and regulations that will help him continue to rule in extreme unrighteousness and wickedness. All right, let's continue.
He ain't fucking with us. That's why America is literally hell on earth. Bunch of phony Christians using God's name in vain to do the devil's work. Our children getting shot at school. The masses getting fed poison. No health care. No consideration for the sick, the homeless, the needy, the veterans. I mean, it is a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah, and the reason why it's like this, we keep it basic. Job 9 and 24. Okay? And we all know this one by heart. Job 9 and 24. It says, the earth is given unto the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? And all those things she named, they are happening because you have the wicked in charge. And ever since the wicked has been in charge, in rulership, things have gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and even more worse. When you go to the book of Maccabees, it even tells you this when it talks about how we'll start at 7, how when Alexander conquered the known world, the Bible tells you what happened after he conquered the known world. First Maccabees 1 and 7. I'm going to get straight to the point. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put on crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils, bad times were multiplied in the earth. And ever since the 1400s, the late 1400s until now, things have gotten progressively worse. Horribly worse. To the point that even the wicked is saying that the wickedness in America is unbearable. And you know Esau loves some wickedness, but when even their people are saying that the wickedness of America is too wicked and it's unbearable, you know it's bad. Let's continue.
It's debauchery and hell at its finest. I would imagine if hell existed on earth, it would look something like the United States. It would look something like our children getting shot in the head while praying at school. It would look something like AK-47s at a Labor Day or Memorial Day parade. It would look like chaos constantly in the streets because of some fascist idiot dictator regularly putting his foot in his fucking mouth. It would look something like all of these corrupt, evil, built bad, aged, decrepit white politicians saying the most audaciously racist, greedy, pedophilic shit you could ever make. It would look like a high-profile pedophilia ring funding a genocide off the tax dollars of impoverished citizens. Yeah, I'm just fucking saying. At this point,
and yes, and she doesn't know how spot on she is. This is hell. Okay, anywhere where Esau is at, it's hell. But seeing as America, Babylon, the snake, it is the country that is in power right now, and it's ruled by Edom. It's the focal point of a lot of bad things that have seeped and has entrenched itself all around the world. So she is spot on. America is hell. Okay, when you go to Job, what's that? Job 10? Job 10 and 21. And it says, before I go, whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order. This is why it's called Babylon, because it's completely confused. And it says, and where the light is as darkness. This place is fucking hell for all the reasons that this young lady named and then some. And it's for this reason, because of the bloodshed, because of the wickedness of this place. As she said, this is why Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is not pleased with America. This is why the Lord is not fucking with America. Okay? As the scripture says, the was it the sins of this place? Let me do sin. No. I think it's heavens. I think it's, could it be? Let me put it on pause and find it real quick. All right, I found it. Revelation 18 and 5. And it says, for, let me start at 4 just so we get a little bit of context. And it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Why? Because this place is about to get judged. The Lord is not happy with Babylon, the snake. And it says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Yes, the Lord remembers everything that this devil has done. He remembers the fact that they came over and slaughtered, our Northern Kingdom brothers. Trail of Tears, tobacco pouches made with breast, cutting stomachs open and throwing the baby up in the air to see how it can land on a pike, giving them diseases. Our Southern Kingdom brothers, yokes of iron, buck breaking, lynching, picnics, redlining, Tuskegee, drown towns, sundown towns. Hey, the Lord remembers all of those things. And as the young lady mentioned, we not even going to get on this sodomite behavior, which the Lord clearly says in the Bible that Sodom and Gomorrah was an example, that if any other city or town or country, whatever place models themselves after that, it's going to get heavily judged. The Lord remembers all these things. And see, this is why the Lord said in verse 6 that he's going to reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled, feel to her double. Okay? So when the Lord comes back, hey, he's going to render double to these devils here in Babylon the snake. Okay? And part of that justice is the Lord using his elect men. Okay? His battle axe and weapons of war. Ephraim's the bow, Judah's the arrow. Hey, the Lord is going to show America in the very near future how heavily displeased he is and why he's not messing with this place. All right, because these devils think that they still have a chance. All right, but the scripture says they thought that they were he was all together like them, meaning that these devils thought the Lord was on their side. And now they're starting to realize, uh-oh, the Lord might not be messing with us. They doing all this praying and all this voting just to realize that, hey, it was all for naught. And the things that they have done that the Lord remembers, there's going to be consequences for it. So that's all I wanted to say on this. Hope you all are edified. To the next time, we're going to say shalom.